Hey guys, and welcome to the video. This another episode of Hacking Modding News and Info, the first one that we've done in like a month. Of course, as some of you may know, I was blocked by YouTube for, being on their naughty list for 2 weeks. And then as soon as that was over, then I had to address all the 6.72 exploit stuff that's been going down with the PS4 scene. That's just been on fire. So I haven't had a chance to do these episodes. And on top of that, there's the whole, life situation and work and all of this stuff. So I'm planning for hopefully a big move here within the next couple of months. And that's taking a lot of work and time as well. So yeah, I haven't been able to do these, but now hopefully we'll get back on track. Anyway, this is a weekly segment, at least usually weekly, that I do where I cover some of the more important things in the hacking, modding, homebrew, jailbreak, and emulation scenes that I think the viewers of this channel would find either informative, useful, helpful, or maybe just entertaining in some way. There's a strong focus on consoles and handhelds, but I also cover sometimes some other platforms like PC, phones, maybe Raspberry Pis, things like that. Now this week we're going to do things a little bit differently because so much has happened over the past few weeks. I'm just going to make you aware of what's been updated. Normally with these segments that we do on Mondays, usually I cover what's been updated, what's new, and I spend a little bit of time talking about each. But since today we're going to cover everything, I'm just going to make you only aware of what's come out and what's been updated. That way we can just move right through everything quickly. And then next week we'll get back to our, regular style and regular format. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's kick things off with the PS3. Alright, so kicking things off with the PS3 scene here at PS3 Brewology. There's been a few homebrews that have been updated since the last time we were here. The last time when we went over this stuff, the Showtime and Movie and homebrews have been updated. Since then, the Apollo Save Tool has been updated, as well as the Han Toolbox, Webman mod, and finally Mana Guns. This is something I definitely was waiting for. When you go into each of these, just click on download here to download the one that you want. I am still working on the tutorials for the Apollo Save Tool as well as Artemis for the PS3. I haven't forgotten about that. Hopefully within a week or so, I'll be able to get those out. Alright guys, we're going to move over to the PS4 scene, and I just want to let you know that there is way too much for us to cover here. So if you want to be updated with everything that has happened over the past couple of weeks, you can check out the various videos that I've released on my channel here. You can also check out like Modded Warfare's channel. You can come to PSX Hacks here. They do a really good job about keeping everyone up to date and posted. Or you can check out my Discord. A link to all this stuff will be down in the description. And by the way, because of what YouTube is doing, singling out my channel, apparently, I'm putting the links all on a Google Sheet. So when you click the main link in the description, it'll take you to that Google Sheets, and then you'll see all the links there, and you can go ahead and just click them right there on your browser, and you'll be taken to the sites. So one of the things I do want to cover though, real quick, is this that just came out a couple of days ago, this Mortal Kombat 11 Combat Swap Pack. So for those of you that have MK11 as a fake package file backup on your system, if you're interested, you can come here, check out what this is all about. There's some demo videos and whatnot here as well in the thread. So make sure you check it out again if you're interested. And now we head on over to the PS Vita. This is a site we've talked about many times. It's VitaDB. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but there's quite a few things that have been updated and or are new here. This is just a place that's a massive resource of PS Vita homebrews, all the different types of apps, tools, games, and things like that. And there's a bunch of things here that have been updated or are new since we were here last. Anytime something is new, it gets put here on the top. Whenever something gets updated, it also gets placed on the top. And then as newer stuff comes out, the older stuff keeps getting pushed down. You can use an app like EasyVPK, install it into your modded Vita. This one is connected here to this Vita database, so you can search for all this stuff and download it and install it right from your Vita. All right, and now we switch gears and move on over to the Switch scene. Again, most of you are familiar with these updates that I'm about to cover here, so I'm just going to kind of gloss over them. I'll spend just a little bit of extra time with the last thing we're going to cover because it's something that's new, sort of. We'll cover that when we get to it. Okay, starting with Atmosphere, this is now in 0.14.1. This came out a couple of weeks ago. You know, the usual stuff here with various improvements, stability, and all that stuff. But one of the things that's interesting is that Daybreak is now included. This is a safer, more accurate way for you to install firmware onto your Switch without having to use the Choi de Jour NX app. I'm sure there will be a tutorial on this coming out soon. Hecate has been updated, as well as Nyx, and then Deep Sea, that all-in-one custom firmware package deal, has been updated with all of the latest stuff as well, including that Atmosphere and Hecate that we just talked about. This is the spiritual successor to Cosmos, and it's absolutely fantastic. I did a video about it and whatnot. Oh, and recently one of the developers of Team Neptune reached out to me here in the comments, and we had a nice little discussion. I'm gonna make a very short video here in the not too distant future regarding that conversation. It's pretty interesting. Alright, and continuing with the Switch, we have a few more things that have been updated. Homebrew Details is a homebrew app manager that you can install, and as the name implies, it gives you a lot of details regarding those homebrew apps you have installed, but it also gives you some nice functionality and options as well. Again, this is something that we've covered in the past. Then we see Tegra Explorer also get updated. This is a file manager for your modded Switch. The difference here is that this one does not install like your regular homebrew file manager. This one is a payload based one, and because it is, you get a little bit more features and options that you don't get in the others. And then we have Switch Remote Play. This allows you to easily play your Nintendo Switch remotely or locally via another device. You can even use a keyboard, a mouse, a whole different type of controller, a touchscreen, and things like that. Definitely worth checking out if you're interested in remotely playing your Switch on a different device. And lastly for the Switch is something that I'm going to consider kind of new, but it really isn't, and that is Edison SE. Now this is something I've never covered in any of these segments or on this channel, and I never even knew it existed. I really don't even see people talking about it at all, but it's actually been around for a while. This is a fork of the Edison homebrew for Switch. Edison itself, of course, as you may know, is a homebrew that deals with game save management, game save editing, cheats, and things like that. And this is a fork of that. You can see here all of the added features that this has that the regular Edison doesn't. So this has definitely sparked my interest, and I'm going to be checking it out and see what it's all about. And if it's any good or even better than Edison, then it may be worth doing a tutorial on. Now let's head on over to the 3DS scene, where there is a completely new exploit that has become available. This one called Browser Hacks, and this is a way for you to completely hack your 3DS, 2DS system without the need of any special hardware like one of those little carts or anything like that. You just need to have a way to put some files onto an SD card, and that's pretty much it. The steps are laid out here. This does only work for those who have a new 3DS or new 2DS system. Your system also has to have a firmware that falls into the range of one of these listed here, and then you simply just follow the instructions, which then gets you access to the homebrew launcher, and then from there is a lot with what you can do with your system. And continuing with the 3DS, we have this that has recently surfaced, and that is a port of Super Mario 64 for the 3DS. Now earlier in the year, we saw something like this for the PC, where Super Mario 64 was ported over and it ran natively on the PC, meaning it didn't need an emulator. It installed and ran as a native PC game, and that is what's happening here. But on the 3DS, the game is running natively. Most people are reporting that it's running smooth at a full 60 frames, and yeah, it's really interesting what's come out of all of these leaks Nintendo has experienced this year. actually just within the past few weeks, they experienced another one where a bunch of data and information was dumped regarding games and their older legacy consoles and things like that. Now, I don't know if this was a direct result of that, but either way, it's good to see that these games can run native, especially on a 3DS, 2DS system, and hopefully we'll get more than just Mario 64. And we will wrap up the 3DS scene with a couple of things you should already know about. We've already covered them here a bunch of times. First is an update to Twilight Menu, which is kind of an emulator type deal for your 3DS. This latest update has various bug fixes and improvements that have been done to it. This is version 16.1.0, and then PKSM also got an update within the past few weeks. It's now at 9.2.0. Same thing here, various fixes and improvements. And now let's move on over to the world of emulation, and more specifically RetroArch. Two things we got to cover here real quick. The first one, this just happened, and that is that their servers and repository apparently have been hacked into. A hacker vandalized their build bot and GitHub organization. They go into detail here about what happened. As of right now, as of when they posted this, the only thing it seems that some people might run into an issue with is if you try to update your course through RetroArch. That doesn't seem to be working right now. You may experience a couple other issues here and there, but they are working to make sure everything gets back to normal. Again, make sure you read the full details if you're interested. And then there was an update also about a week or so ago to RetroArch itself. It's now in version 1.9. You can check out all of the highlights. Plus, down at the bottom, there is a huge extensive changelog that covers all of that information. And a couple more updates regarding a couple more emulators that we've talked about in the past here. So again, I'm going to go through them very quick. MGBA, which is an emulator for various Game Boy systems, and it works on various platforms. This has been updated to 0.8.3. You can check out here this long list of improvements and fixes and enhancements. The download page contains whatever files you need for your particular system, and you can see here the ones that are supported. Then we have CMU Emulator, which we've talked about before. This is by far the best Wii U emulator. It is for PC only. Down at the bottom here of the home page, you can grab the latest version there, or you can also go to the download page. Also, make sure you check out the changelog so you can see what's been done in this latest version. And the last thing we're going to cover regarding emulation is an update and a feature that has been added to RyuJinx. Now, RyuJinx is a Switch emulator for your PC, and this latest feature allows you to upscale the resolution in these Switch games to whatever you want, even 8K. Now, of course, in order to do so, you need to have a pretty beefy system. It strongly depends on your CPU and your GPU power, so not everyone will be able to take advantage of this. But this demo video here does a really good job of showing you the native resolution as it's doing now, then showing you how things look at 2x scale and then 4x scale. It truly, really is impressive. And we're going to wrap up this week's episode with a couple of quick miscellaneous mentions. First, an update to PK Hex. This is a game save editor for your PC. It is designed for Pokemon game saves from all the different Pokemon games that are out there from all the various systems. Again, it's designed strictly only for your PC, and you can grab the latest version here, and you can also check out the changelog here as well. And then lastly, we have an update to Uncover, which is a jailbreak tool for iOS firmwares 11.0 through 13.5. You can grab the latest version 5.3.1 here. There's also an installation guide and a bunch of other useful information as you scroll down their main homepage. And that is going to do it for today, guys. I appreciate you watching. Sorry this took a little bit longer, but we had a lot to cover, and hopefully next week things will get back to normal. If you found anything here informative, useful, helpful in any way, or just entertaining, or you just want to throw some love or appreciation towards the channel, the best way to do any of those things is just to hit the like button, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Much love going out to everybody out there. Be careful, be safe, but have fun, and we will see you on the next one.